Hello and welcome to another Time to Reply Academy video. In this video, we're going to cover how to create an account and add your first mailbox. And then we're also going to cover how you can add additional mailboxes once you've added your first mailbox. Let's dive in. So I'm on the register page to create a new account. And I've got the option of either creating an account with my Microsoft or Google credentials, or I can create my account manually. So if I was to click on continue with Microsoft, I would hit a screen that asks me for permissions from Microsoft to link my mailbox. I would accept those permissions. I would then be taken to a screen where my data would start loading and I'd get access into the system, and the system would pre-populate with information from my mailbox. So this is the fastest route into the system, and we always start with linking the person who's creating the account's mailbox first, just so that you can actually see some data in the system and get value. Thereafter, if you don't want to track your own mailbox, and a lot of our customers are coming in to track a different mailbox, you can add additional mailboxes and then remove your mailbox. So don't remove your mailbox first. First add another mailbox, and then you can remove your mailbox, so that the system has at least one mailbox to track. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to create an account manually. I'm going to use a test email address, choose a time zone, I'll create a password, and agree to the terms and conditions. Click start trial. Because I've created the account manually, we now have to choose what type of mailbox do we want to add. Is it a Microsoft mailbox, a Gmail mailbox, an IMAP mailbox, or an EWS mailbox? EWS is Exchange Web Services and typically is the option for any on-prem Exchange customers who don't have Office 365 enabled. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to choose the Microsoft option. It's then going to send me to a login screen where I can sign in with the account that I created the account with. It's then going to ask me to accept permissions. So I can just read those permissions. I can expand any of these permissions to understand what the app will have access to. Here it says read user basic mail, allows the app to read mail in the signed in user's mailbox, except for the body, the preview body, attachments, and any extended properties. So because this is an admin email, I can also provide consent to any other mailboxes that I want to add to the Time to Reply system without those users receiving any invitations from Time to Reply. So if I want to do a bulk add, I can tick on that particular box and authenticate for my domain. So I'm going to do that in this case, and I'm going to click accept. Once I've done that, I'm going to land on a screen that's going to show me the data loading. And while the data loads, I could just answer 3 quick questions. What team are you part of? What is your role? And what is your team size or company size? Once the emails are loaded, you'll be flicked into the Time to Reply dashboard. You'll see some initial data. It'll take you through a quick onboarding flow where it'll show you how to run a report. So show a report for my company when communicating with, and I can pick a contact or I can say everybody else. And then it'll show me some statistics. First reply time, overall reply time, conversations, emails sent, emails received. And then I can choose to add more mailboxes, or I can dive into the reporting. So let's see how we can add some more mailboxes and remove my mailbox from being tracked. So if I click on add more mailboxes, I've got a few different options to add mailboxes. I could send out invites individually to people who I want to add to the system. they would receive an invite, they would have to click on the link, and they would have to accept the permissions like we've just done. Alternatively, I can bulk add mailboxes as a super admin, as an Office 365 super admin, where if I click on this option, it would request me to sign in as a super admin. I would then be redirected back to time to reply. I would see a number of mailboxes on my environment. I'd be able to tick the ones that I wanted to add to time to reply and click save. There, no invites would go out to any of the mailboxes that were being added. If I wanted to add a shared mailbox, I could do so by clicking on add shared or group mailbox. We've got another video that covers how to do this. And if I wanted to create a team, I could do that from clicking on that particular button. So to send an individual invite, I would click on add mailboxes one by one. I would choose individual, I'd choose the type. And if you've got multiple different types of mail providers, you can choose different providers. We do not limit you. If you've added one Microsoft mailbox, you could add a Google mailbox. That would be fine. So I'll select Microsoft. I'd enter a name. I'd enter the email address. This again is just a test mailbox. I could add a personal message if I wanted to. I could see what is going to be sent to him. And then I could say, send the email authentication, send the authentication email. That would send an email out. Blake would receive the email, have to click on the link and accept the permissions. The other way of doing it, as mentioned, is I could add them multiple at once. This is the super admin option. I could choose the Microsoft option. It's going to ask me to sign in. It's going to ask me to accept the super admin permissions. I can then see the different mailboxes on this test environment, and I can simply select the one that I wanted to add and click save. That mailbox will now be added to the system. If I go to Tools, Mailboxes, you can see that was the mailbox that we created the account with and added first. That was the second mailbox that we've added. Now, let's say I wanted to remove my own mailbox. I could do so by going Actions and Delete. And because we've got another mailbox on the system will not kick you back out and try to get you to add this mailbox again. It'll simply accept that you're actually now trying to track this mailbox, and I have still got access. If I go to account access, that is still the main admin email address. And that covers adding mailboxes to the system. The same flow is available for Google customers. If you had to go to Tools, Mailboxes, you could send invites and simply choose the Google option. If you wanted to add an IMAP mailbox, you'd choose IMAP. You'd click on link an IMAP mailbox here. You'd enter the name, you'd enter the mailbox email address, and then you'd have to enter your IMAP details. For IMAP connections, we require the username and password. For Microsoft and Google, we don't require the username and password at all. We simply connect via OAuth, and we get a token back from Microsoft, and we use that token to access the APIs. Finally, if you wanted to add a mailbox via EWS, you would choose the EWS option, and it's very similar to the IMAP option where you need to enter all of that information and then save the credentials. If you wanted to add multiple mailboxes at once, so do the super admin add for Google, you'd click add mailboxes multiple at once. You choose the G Suite option, and you'd have to follow this guide to give our application permissions in your Google Workspace's account. Once you've done that, you would enter your Google Workspace admin email address into this block. You'd click continue to mailbox selection, and you'd land on that same screen that we landed on earlier, where you'd see all of the mailboxes on your environment. You'd simply select the ones that you wanted to add to time to reply, including shared mailboxes, and you'd click save, and then they would be added to the system. And that covers adding a mailbox to time to reply and adding additional mailboxes to time to reply. Thank you.